Good morning, hustlers. Excuse the voice, still getting over the flu. We've been pretty ill all over Christmas and New Year. It was an absolute write-off, which has been awful. So we really need to cheer ourselves up. So what we're doing is we are, as you know, I've mentioned this in some of the other videos, that we are looking for a property, but a couple of properties have come up in a similar area. So we're going to coincide that with a couple of nights out in the van, and we're heading off tomorrow. So today I'm just gonna, well, it's been pretty cold, so there's been a couple of days below freezing, so we're quite glad that we emptied Vera out of all her water. We kind of emptied all the tanks, drained her. So whilst we've not been well, and whilst we've not been able to get out in the van the last 2 or 3 weeks, she's been fine. She hasn't frozen, the pipes haven't blown or anything like that. So today I'm going to concentrate on giving Vera a bit of a clean. We've washed all the bedding and everything, so that needs to go back on, and we're going to fill the tank up with water again and get her ready. Like I say, we'll be heading off tomorrow. We've got a couple of destinations that we're heading to, not too far away again, about 3 hours away from where we are. One I'm really excited about. We found a park up that is kind of like beachfront, so hopefully we'll be able to get onto that. Excuse me. But follow along for the journey. Today is just primarily about getting Vera prepped, and we're hoping, even though the weather's a bit poor, it does say on one of the days that it's going to be cold but sunny, so we're hoping that we can get some more drone footage, and we'd really like to try and film a Vera van tour as well, because we haven't really done that. So follow along. I might show you some more clips today, but other than that, it's just kind of getting Vera ready to go, and we are going to be off in the morning, and we'll take you along with us. As you can see, we've had the mattress up a little bit of air through. We're going to put all new fresh bedding on, which we're going to change. And then just under there, which you can't really see, is the water, what we're going to fill up. So just a little bit of appreciation for Vera right now. As I've said, we've had flu over Christmas and New Year for a couple of weeks. Left her to her own devices, bless her. And again, she started up straight away. Water's filled up in the pipes, all good to go. Boilers on, heating's on, lights are on, power's on, fridge is on. All nice new fresh bedding, as I've just shown. I mean, why people don't get into this van thing, I do not know, but that is just me. But we are good to go. Just when the freezer's filled with ice, when that's properly frozen, then we'll get some bits in the cab ready. We're only heading away for 3 days, so we only need to take a little bag of clothes. We've already got our stock of toiletries and stuff. But yeah, pretty excited to be hitting the road. I know people go on these long trips, and that's great for them. Eventually we'll get to that point, but at the minute, with obviously, as I mentioned before, Kelly's health condition, which is going to be forever, that's not going to change, and this time of year it's always worse, and we've had the flu as well, and adding to that, we're house hunting. We can't be away for too long, plus we've got our cats. And actually I think this is a good time to reference that my parents, who we're staying with while we're house hunting, they've seen, and they've been in the motorhome game years ago. Like when I was a kid, we had caravans and motorhomes and stuff like that. But seeing us go out and about on our trips, and my dad's always really been into it. It's great news, but they've got their own motorhome that's been picked up in a week or so. So it's going to be great. It's going to be a lot more kind of family van stuff, I think, and I'm looking forward to. Now I feel like I'm a bit of an expert. I'm not. But now I feel like I've learned a few things myself. I'm gonna kind of help my dad go through his van when he gets it, and looking forward to seeing them get on their first trip. Hopefully we'll be able to recommend some of our park ups that we've had, and I know that my niece and nephew are going to love going away with their nan and pops, so it's going to be exciting to see. But there you go, van life is a bit contagious. Good morning all. Good night of sleep. Van's all good to go. We're heading off on our trip, as I mentioned yesterday. As you know, we're being pretty frugal where we can, so we're just going to have some breakfast before we head off. So I'm just going to get that done. I'm just going to have some granola and some fruit and yoghurt, and then we're going to head off. Now, it was freezing temperatures overnight here last night. for the first time ever, because we had hook up overnight because we wanted the freezer to freeze and keep the fridge cold sort of thing. We left the heating on low overnight, and I can see the van at the window, and all the windows are ice free. There's just a bit of ice on the roof. So I will show you when we get into the van how it's fared overnight. Hopefully, because we haven't been out in a couple of weeks, where we've been not well over Christmas and New Year, it's completely kind of dried out and good to go, and it hasn't been started again for another couple of weeks. I know we're pretty bad at that, as you know. So we'll get into the van, we'll have some breakfast, last little bits in the van, and then we'll see how she fares starting up. Right, so it's pretty chilly. The moment of truth you're going to see at the same time as me. Let's see if she's all warm. Woo. She is nice and toasty. Oh, she's lovely and warm. Right, so I'm in the van. Kil's got to go back through the house and lock it up and meet me around the front. This is the moment of truth. Like I said, bear with us. And there is a light that's been on that I think might scupper our plans, but let's go. Oh, you know what? I can't get over Vera. She is a little diamond. We're good to go. Right, so we're good to go. No issues with Vera. We have made it approximately 15 minutes down the road before we're heading to our favourite place. Not Tappy Carpets, but Costa. So Kel's headed in to grab me a hot chocolate and get herself a mocha. And then we're actually going to be heading off to Sheringham. That's Norfolk way. We want to kind of explore that area anyway. I am looking forward to the day where it's sunny when we go away, because we've got our van. Well, we got Vera back end of September, and then we had a few like little modifications that we wanted to do ourselves and change some of the furnishings and all the little touchy-uppy bits. So we've only really been out in this horrible weather, and it's absolutely fine. I guess maybe that's a good way of doing it, that we saw and we've experienced the cold. And we've got teddy bear bedding, so we've not even been cold once, but it's just the rain and the miserable weather. However, tomorrow is forecast to be sun, but we're going to do a couple of stops in Norfolk way, but the first one is going to be Sheringham, so we'll be sharing Sheringham trip with you this week, and we are going to look for a couple of houses up that way as well. We've got a couple of appointments, not in Sheringham but Norfolk, so we're going to coincide and kill two birds with one stone. But as I've mentioned, we're going to share the house hunting videos, because we hope they will come to an end at some point when we actually get a house, but there's a kind of little series that we're filming in the background, so we'll share all about that then. But for this time, we're heading off. We're currently getting a Costa, we've filled up with diesel, and we're heading to Sheringham. Right, also, I said we was going to Sheringham, and we have just pulled up, so it took us just over 3 hours, I think. A couple of little kind of traffic light stops on the way. Our plan was, we've just stopped and had a bit of lunch, and Mikkel. Plan was to come and explore around Sheringham, and then we was going to head off to Cromer, because we quite often, I mean, we're not staying at a site or anything tonight, but we're quite often intrigued by some of the free park ups and the park for nights. The plan was to have a little explore around Sheringham, and then head to Cromer to stay, because we've heard that you can park on the promenade for free. But we've just kind of, we followed the directions to the, and I don't know if it is it Esplanade, Promenade, whatever, in Sheringham, and you can't really see it properly. I'll show you a bit in a minute, but we found free parking, granted just on the side of the road. However, that's what stealth camping is a little bit like, isn't it? We're not 100% stealth, but we are in a self-converted camper van, excuse me. So if you look straight ahead, like I said, I don't know if you can see, but we are literally, the sea is there, and it's pretty dead. Like we were just saying, it's pretty dead. It's January, second week in Jan. It's freezing. I don't think we're going to get too many interruptions and too many people coming up to the van or anything like that. We're going to go for a little walk anyway. We're going to go and look on the beach. We're going to have a little walk around the town. I think we're just going to stay here tonight. Now, being two girls, obviously, safety is a big thing for us, but it feels pretty calm, pretty safe. We said we're going to have a look up further along the road, see if there's any other motorhomes. So we've seen two campers actually just parked on a roundabout, parked up, and they've got their curtains across, so they're staying in there. And we're going to have a little look. If there's any other motorhomes, then we might move so we're a little bit closer, but there's no restrictions here. There's no double yellows. There's cars just parked along the road and everything like that. I think we're probably going to stay here tonight. We're going to park up, have some grub, and watch Netflix Squid Games. But who knows? We'll show you along the way anyway. But some of the YouTubers that we follow, they're so confident because they've been doing van life for ages, and they're like, you can park anywhere. And we haven't got a big motorhome. You know what Vera's like. She's a self-converted panel van, essentially. So she can park up anywhere. And, you know, it costs us nothing. It's just cost us our petrol. And we were coming up this way anyway to look at some houses, and like I've said, not in Sheringham but Norfolk way, so we were going to have to pay petrol to come up here anyway, and we've just coincided it with a night out, which we get to use Vera again, we get to have a night away, we get to explore a little new area. So we'll see if we end up here tonight or not, but we'll keep you updated. We're going to head out now anyway. It's a bit chilly, so wish us luck. When I said we were close to the sea, we've literally just got out of the van. Found a little shop. We're a little bit sad. We like these shops. They're like old school, like hardware shops, I think. Literally got everything, and the kitchen sink. I just love them. Right, so as we said before, we think we found a lovely safe park up down a side road. We're going to look for some more motorhomes. Well, to be completely honest, we didn't feel 100% safe. We've had a little look around Sheringham now. We feel it was a tiny little town. Probably not giving it what it deserves because it is winter and everywhere looks a bit miserable and it's pretty cold and the tide was in. But we had a little look in some of the shops, which you would have seen. At the top of the road that we was parked at, there was a sign saying no camping, no HGVs. Now, I'm not 100% certain, but I think that camping is not overnight parking. However, we wasn't on double yellows or anything, so I think legally we were fine to park where we parked, but there was no other motorhomes around, and with that sign at the end of the road, and probably nothing but Kel, there's a few creepy characters, weren't there?
I think it was more of a, we stood out because we weren't locals, shall we say.
Yeah, maybe we weren't locals. As we were sitting in the van to come out, there was a few people kind of like really looking in, and look, completely innocent, no doubt, but we're two, as I said, two girls, we just didn't feel safe there, and sometimes you just have to trust your gut and move on. So we were originally looking at another park up in the area anyway, so we've done Sheringham now, and we've moved on just up the road, just 10 minutes up the road to Cromer. see if I can show you a little bit of it. We're literally, there's the sea, and we're just on the side of the road. Now I'm sure it's going to be a little bit of traffic until it dies down because of the time of day, but it's early afternoon or late afternoon at the moment. So yeah, as I was saying, sorry, the camera went a bit funny then. The sea is right there. I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of noise because of the time of day. It's just coming up to 3:30, I think. So look, what's the time?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. So yeah, there's probably a bit more traffic than normal with school run and stuff like that. What I do like about this one is there is a lot of cars parked up. You can't really see, but behind me up there, no, you can't see. I'll show you when we get out. There's another motorhome up there with his blinds all in the window and everything like that. And I have seen this recommended on a couple of sites I looked at as well. So we are parked up. We moved on from that place because we didn't feel safe, and I think that's something that's really important. We could have been totally safe there all night, but just the thought of being asleep and not being able to sleep because of, like, you're worried that someone's going to knock or someone's going to do something, and I'm sure it was completely innocent. But the other thing about this, I'll show you here, we're right by the sea, but there's a wall right there, so we are parked up pretty close to the wall. So not that if someone wants to break in and nick the van while we're in it, they're going to do that regardless, right? But for peace of mind, that makes us feel a little bit safer. So the sliding door and the passenger door is right up against that wall, so it's going to be difficult for people to get in, more difficult than it would be normally. And on the driver's side, we'll have the seat belt through the handle, we've got the steering lock on, and we should be good to go. But it just goes to show, you know, we've been so lucky with our park ups so far, and we've been quite honest and open. The park ups that we've had, that we've shared with you on our trips, we've really touched lucky. So this just goes to show that, you know, you just got to find somewhere that suits you, and if the first stop didn't suit, then 10 minutes away and we found one that did suit. So I think it's hard to plan. We've just really been lucky. But I think we're going to have a little mooch around Cromer. We were going to try and do a full day in each place in between the house hunting visits that we're doing, but I don't think we need to. It's quite small little towns, and like I say, we've hit Sheringham, which you've just seen. There wasn't much else to do there at this time of year, unfortunately, but we've moved on. Have a little look around Cromer, have a little look on the front again, and then probably have some dinner and chill this evening. Something about the sea which both fascinates me and absolutely terrifies me at the same time. So I've got this massive fear I've had basically since I watched Jaws when I was a kid. So I've got an irrational fear of sharks, which has always been my biggest fear ever. And I think that puts me off the sea. But when I was a kid, I was scared to get in the swimming pool, even scared to be in the bath sometimes, which is ridiculous. But there is actually a name, and I can't remember the name, but there's a name for people, like people that've got a fear of the deep, dark sea. I think it begins with T. I really can't remember. I'll find this out. But that's me. Like, I love being near the sea, I love the sound of the waves, but the thought of what on earth is out there absolutely petrifies me. And it sounds ridiculous because I've been in the sea, and I will go in the sea. On our honeymoon we went and swam with the turtles and all stuff like that. I just have to block it out, but even now looking at it I think, what is it? I'm just imagining all these, I don't even know. It's hard to explain, but the sea is not a bit of me really, and even when it looks like this, it's scary. So So we're on the pier and my rational thoughts are I can't look down because there's some quite big gaps. Oh, and I can see the water underneath. And then obviously if I fell in through the wood here, which is likely to happen because that's what my anxiety is telling me, and then I'd be out there and then probably get eaten up by some massive sea creature or some, I don't know. Oh, it's actually getting bad. I'll be back. So another dingy little walk around. Like I say, I don't think we're doing these places any justice purely because of the time of year, so probably places that we might want to visit again in the future when the weather's a bit better. But we feel safe. We found our park up right next to the sea. There's some other camper vans like we said. We've walked around the town, which you've just seen, and it's already dark here now. I'm not sure what the time is, but it's still early-ish. But we've come back to the van because it's pretty cold, so we're going to warm up, we're going to chill. We've got Netflix to watch, and I'm going to get some dinner on. I think with the dinner as well, that is definitely something that I need to work on. Cooking's always kind of been my thing, and it just seems like the last few times we've been out in the van, we've had exactly the same dinner: tortellini and rosti. I know it's just because it's easy. Well, 2, we do like it as well, but 3, I really need to expand our culinary experience when we're away in the van. It's just because we grabbed something from indoors and brought it in the van, so it's pretty quick this time. But I'm going to cook that. I know it sounds like people think van life, you're going out exploring, you're doing this, you're having nights out, meals out, whatever. We're not doing it like that. We're pretty frugal. We need to be frugal because we're buying these houses with our money. So we are just going to chill, have some dinner, watch some Netflix, and then probably have an early night because we've done what we needed to do. We've done what we wanted to do. We primarily came up here to do these house viewings. We got one in the morning, so we'll be just heading off there in the morning, and then we'll be heading off to our next destination, which of course we'll share with you then, and we'll share the house stuff once we're ready to do that. But we want to kind of get a little series together once we know where we're going and what we're doing. But that's us over and out tonight. I might show you a little bit of the cooking in a bit. But it doesn't have to be go, go, go. And I've said before, obviously, Kel, she's got a chronic illness and we're both getting over the flu. And I've still went through so much at the back end of last year with my work and everything like that, you know, we don't have to be on a non-stop schedule. We're just doing what we want to do when we want to do it, and you can be chilled about it. There's all this pressure of a lot of these van lifers that, and I love them, I follow them as well. I see kind of all the amazing videos and the sunsets and the hikes and the out from dusk till dawn and van photos and all that, which is amazing. That suits some people, but for us, we just want to go with the flow and do our own thing, and if that means having an early night, then that means having an early night. So I think it just goes to show that you can do what you want to do. You don't have to follow the herd, and I'm sure we could get better content if we were out doing bits and bobs, but we're not doing it for that. We're just capturing and diarising what we're doing so we can look back in the future, and we're just appreciative of anyone that wants to follow along and watch with us. Right, so first time ever in the evening that we've had to whack the heating on. It is pretty cold. I'm not sure how cold it is outside, but it's going to be freezing throughout the night. We've just had to put the heating on for a little bit, give it a little blast, warm it up a little bit because we are frozen. Just going to get the dinner on the go. I know I said the same dinner as before. So we've got some rostis going in the air fryer, and actually it's not tortellini, I lied. It is a bit different. It's some gnocchi. Doesn't really go, but you know, it's nice warm grub, easy to do. Whack in the air fryer and boil the gnocchi, and pretty quick. And then we're going to chill and watch some Netflix. Good morning all. Excuse the bedhead, not long woke up. So we had a good night. We shared with you a little bit of Sheringham and Cromer. Our park up was was fine on a road, so we heard some of the cars going past in the night, but that was no bother whatsoever. And also we're so close to the beach that you can hear the waves through the night, so that was pretty lovely. So that's us for this week. We're going to head off now to our next destination, which we'll share with you next time, and also, as we've mentioned, a couple of house visits that eventually we'll be able to share with you once we've got those in a place where we're happy with it, and once we've confirmed what we're actually doing with our lives. So catch up with you then, and have a good week. Thanks for watching, hustlers. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share for the rest of our journey. Who knows where we'll end up. See you next time.